Hi, I'm Sterling. As usual, you're learning American English with me, and today I'm going to talk about the exciting topic of, wait for it, gerunds. Gerunds. The English only Nazis will not like this presentation because the English only Nazis say that you cannot talk about another language or talk in another language when teaching English. I vehemently disagree. I think it's very useful. We need to learn grammar and we need to learn English, but grammar is not the sole property of English. Spanish also has grammar, and it shares a lot with English grammar. And the majority of students trying to learn English need to brush up on the general subject of grammar in their own language. So, how can you expect to learn how gerunds work in English if you don't understand how they work in your own language? It's possible, but to know it in your own language makes it easier. So, all of you English only Nazis, you're welcome to turn this video off right now because you're going to hear me talking about Spanish in this explanation of English. I might even say a few Spanish phrases. Shocking. But if you're a Spanish speaker looking for some good tips on how to speak better English by taking advantage of what you already know in your own native language, then by all means, do keep watching. So, gerunds. Every English course covers the subject of gerunds. And if you're at least nearly an intermediate level English speaker, you probably already know the explanation and definition of gerunds, at least part of it from the English language point of view. But do you know the explanation and definition of gerunds from the Spanish language point of view? Well, I think you should. That could also help you with this concept of English. English courses in general would like you to believe that gerunds are an English language thing. At least that's the way grammar is presented in most traditional English courses. Gerunds are more than that because they exist in Spanish. You just don't always use them in the same way in both languages. So here's the main subject of this video, finally getting around to it. This is about what Spanish speakers tend to naturally say slightly awkwardly when they should be using a gerund, but they don't. And the reason is because they're still thinking in Spanish. Gerunds in English are formed by adding ing, to the base verb. And gerunds are formed in Spanish with ando and yendo endings. And in English, we can and do use a gerund as the subject or the object of a sentence. That makes it into a thing and not a verb anymore. But Spanish does not do this. Look, some examples. In English, walking is fun. Eating is necessary. Celebrating should be done on New Year's Eve. Feeding the dog takes time. In each of these sentences, the gerund, walking, eating, celebrating, is the subject of the sentence. It's the provider of the action. But you can't do that in Spanish, at least not with a gerund. You use gerunds in Spanish too, just not always exactly the same way, but sometimes. So how do you use them in Spanish? In both English and Spanish, gerunds can play the part of the present participle. That means the continuous action form of a verb. That's also a very common use of gerunds in Spanish, like, for example, I am walking, estoy caminando. I am eating, estoy comiendo. They were deciding, estuve decidiendo. The present participle is a form of the verb that indicates continuous action. In English, we also think of this continuous action as a thing. So we say, walking is healthy. Eating is necessary. But in Spanish, it's not thought of as a thing. Instead, to say the same thing in Spanish, we would use the infinitive form of the verb. Walking is healthy. Caminar es sano. Eating is necessary. Comer es necesario. Now, because you're not using a gerund in the Spanish version, to translate the same expression literally, you're saying to walk is healthy, to eat is necessary. And that formation of words using the infinitive sounds natural in Spanish, but it sounds awkward in English. Even though it's not really wrong, it just sounds awkward. So obviously, if you're a Spanish speaker, it's not natural to use a gerund as the subject of a sentence because it's wrong in Spanish. To you, it feels more natural to use the infinitive form of the verb. So, what happens when people think in Spanish? Spanish speakers, still thinking in Spanish, tend to want to use the infinitive form of the verb. They might say, to walk is fun. To eat is important. Well, neither one of those are incorrect. You will be understood. It's just not the word pattern. It's not the choice of words that a native speaker would choose. To sound natural in English, remember to include this concept as you continue to try to think in English. There are three verbs there. Continue to try to think in English. So just for practice, here are a few sentences beginning in Spanish using the infinitive form, where in English, it sounds more natural to use a gerund. Decidir qué hacer es un reto. It sounds really good in English to say deciding, gerund, what to do is a challenge. It sounds awkward in English to say to decide what to do is a challenge. That's using the infinitive form as you would in Spanish. Another example. Dejé fumar. It sounds really good in English to say, I quit smoking. The gerund form. It sounds totally incorrect to say, I quit to smoke. That's the infinitive form, but that's what you would say in Spanish. Another example. Tengo ganas de hacer el trabajo. Okay, it sounds really good in English to say, I look forward to doing the job. But it sounds horrible and wrong and awkward to say, I look forward to do the job. That's just wrong. Sometimes it sounds awkward. Sometimes it's just completely wrong. One more example. Ir comprando es necesario cada semana. So it would sound great in English to say, going shopping is necessary every week. It's not completely wrong, but it just sounds awkward to use the infinitive to say, to go shopping is necessary every week. There's a little complication there because shopping in there, that's separate from the verb where I was using going or to go, because I've got a double verb thing going on there. But just listen to the go part. Going shopping is necessary every week. That sounds great. To go shopping is necessary every week. That's not wrong. It just doesn't sound natural. I could expand this video with more exercises on gerunds, and we can do that individually together in classes. Thanks for staying with me. Thanks for listening about this exciting topic about gerunds. And please subscribe to my channel. Just click the subscribe button. Go ahead, and I'll see y'all sometime really soon.